Good morning and welcome to Jukebox Judgement here on newdawn.fm with me, Dawn Parry, and we have a lovely, lovely stack of fabulous guests who are record producers themselves. Good morning, Steve Lillywhite.
Good morning, Dawn.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry. I
should say, good morning, arise, Dr. Steve Lillywhite, CBE.
Yes, I don't know if I can say that, but yes, I did receive some honour yesterday, and I wore a silly hat and a silly gown, and I made a silly speech. So it was jolly nice. I was very honoured. Yeah. Wow. I still have no idea what it's all about.
It's an honour for all your work, for all the decades of your work, for all your life since you were 17, Steve, and a fabulous day it was as well. I was there, but we can do a whole show about all of that some other time. But yes, hey Doc, how are you doing? Anyway, you're welcome. Let's move on to good morning, Phil Brown.
Good morning, Dawn. Hi guys.
Hello. Oh, and Phil's got a T-shirt thing saying "blurred vision." What's that?
It was a trio from Canada that my brother worked with a few years back. Good band. They kind of didn't happen and imploded, but they were very good.
And for listeners out there, we should say that your brother, of course, is
Terry Brown.
Indeed. Okay, thank you very much, Phil. And Phil's looking extraordinarily energized this morning. Must be the sunshine and all those vegetables you're growing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And, of course, going back into the studio and working again, which is wonderful fun. And Dana Gillespie. Good morning, Dana.
Good morning, Dawn. Good morning, chaps. And well done, by the way, Steve, whatever it is that you got. Did you get it in Bali?
No, I'm in London. University of Surrey.
Oh, okay. I was born there. It's Surrey, in a place called Woking. I'm an embarrassment to say.
No, I was born there as well. So was Steve. Who else was?
Paul Weller and Sir Les Reed, who played the orchestra on the first time I ever was on Ready Steady Go in 1965.
There you go. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Being born in Surrey.
Well, it was countryside when I was a child. It's not now.
No. But always a pleasure to have you on the show, Dana. Thank you.
Thanks.
And Barry Upton, good morning, coming in from Thailand this morning, Barry. Well, as always.
Yes, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and a great day and hello to all the listeners. Hello to Phil. Hello to the return of the wonderful Dana Gillespie, and also congratulations to Dr. Steve Lillywhite. And I will be after the show. I've got a few complaints, medical complaints, which I shall consult with you afterwards on a private consultation. All right, now that you're qualified.
I've got a few gynecological.
And hello to you, Dawn.
Thank you, Barry. And yes, Dana, well, we can move along to that on another show, possibly. Okay, well, I'm hoping that the sound system will work out properly. But actually, I was a bit tired. There was 6 hours of driving involved yesterday. So I'm a little bit tired this morning. But hopefully I've got all the sound set up correctly. And I've just seen myself. I look like I'm in a nightie. Actually, this is a new summer top I've got. Not a nightie at all, but it looks like one.
Can you see that, listeners?
No, you can't see it yet, but you will be able to a little bit later. And what you have to do, Barry, and so that you can see yourself in your lovely grey T-shirt, and I do prefer you in a T-shirt than one of those wife beater vests, I have to say.
Wife beater? Where do you get this wife beater thing from? Stereotyping.
You should know, darling. You do the stereo sound. Anyway, so for yourself, that is not on this show, but because it's a look, Barry. But anyway, I have to say.
But where did you get the wife beater from? Who taught you that it's a wife beater shirt?
That's not a wife beater, Dawn.
No, not what he's got on now. What he usually wears. I said I prefer this one to the ones that we've.
Oh, right.
But I don't beat wives, so it's you're stereotyping incorrectly.
That's because you haven't got a wife, Barry. But I mean,
you would if you
Don't
had
go
one.
there, Dawn. Don't go there.
You're crawling yourself into a deeper hole, Dawn. I wouldn't go there.
I'm having so much fun. Okay, well, let's move on, shall we? Because I'm hoping now that we will be able to hear the tracks that I've got all lined up for this morning. There are many. Okay, now Barry is a really lovely gentleman, I have to say. He likes the women beating him rather than the other way around.
That's only at weekends.
Okay. Well, no. Barry, it's almost the weekend.
All right, well, Miss Whiplash, get your stuff on, get your gear on.
Wait a minute. Actually, it is the weekend because, of course, it's bank holiday, isn't it, this weekend?
Not here.
Well, they should for May Day in lieu, something like that. Anyway, let's move on to all of the tracks that I spent so long lining up, and let's start with a band called The Flying Beats and their track. Oh, and I've forgotten to write all this down. Oh, we had a water disaster here as well. I did, like a pint of water all over my desk earlier this morning. Okay, so this is The Flying Beats, as in BEETS, and I See Through You.
Oh, baby.
We're not here.
No.
We can't hear.
Okay, well, it would seem that none of the team can hear that. So let me just check the system settings here and make sure that that they can. And input is that, output is that. Right. Well, listeners possibly couldn't hear it as well, but I think they could. So let's just make sure that that is all correct. And let's start again. Flying Beats.
Oh, baby, don't you know? Every time I've got to go, there's something wrong with you. There's nothing I can do. Ask and ask, but there's no fruits. No progress, there's no producing any sense from this. Oh, why won't you say you miss? Don't even start. No, don't you know, share heart, and I know you well. So I love to play your games, and I like to watch your trains of thoughts digress. Oh, there's no way to love you less. So when something isn't right, oh, it's easier than light to see in space. Oh, it's written on your face. So ask me what's wrong. Write me another song. So that's what I do. I see through you. everything you do's a clue. So don't even start. No, no, don't you know it's your heart, and I know you well.
Oh, and that was. Hang on, what goes on to the next one? That was the Flying Beats, and I See Through You. And do you know what? There was a cardinal sin there for me, though. See through you. Steve Lillywhite, would you like to go first, please?
Okay, well, when you make a record, you have to deal with lots. You don't just write a song and make a record. You write a song and then you embellish it with music, and that song didn't have any music. Music means things that don't just play the chords. Music are other things that, you know, riffs and hooks and things that come in and out. It was very basic, and now very basic can work if you have a voice that is exceptional, you know, but if you don't, you need to try. I mean, and you know, people have hit records without exceptional voices. You don't have to have an exceptional voice to have a hit record, but you have to have all the things. You know, you need to have better music, and so I would say go back and look at it again. It's not a bad song, yeah, but it didn't sound like a record to me.
Thank you very much, Steve Lillywhite. Okay, so there is a song in there, and potentially a very good song in there, as long as a little bit more attention is paid to the music side of that. Phil Brown.
Yeah, I'd agree with everything the doctor said. I thought the mix was not right, and the inconsistent kind of vocal level, plus the way he sang. So yeah, not for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Phil Brown. Danny Gillespie.
Well, I agree too. Also, not for me. I didn't really like the tone of the voice. This is probably just a personal thing. And as for the lyrics, it defied. It didn't rhyme. There were things. There was one sentence that finished in, let's say, right. And then the next one was lie. These things don't rhyme, and that games don't rhyme with brains. So I wasn't very happy about that, but I'm just slightly picking. It didn't move me. Even my feet didn't want to tap on it, because basically all you hear is the fuzzy guitar and his voice. It needs a whole lot more of structure, myself.
Okay, thank you.
Drawing board.
Thank you very much, Danny Gillespie. So the flying beats, back to the drawing board. Parry Upton.
I think you're being very kind, Dawn, by saying that there's a song in there, because I didn't hear a song in there at all. I thought it was just a jumble of ideas
You should know by now, Barry. I'm kind. I try to be kind.
I know. Well, on the flip side of that, I'm going to say that was dreadful, and it wasn't good musically. It wasn't good lyrically. It didn't move me at all. And so, and when it got to the bit that went I thought Dawn's not going to like that. No. That's a no.
It's the H's that get pronounced. Where
So I think they've made a bit of a faux pas there as when it comes to getting a bit of radio play. I don't think that's going to happen.
Dawn, I've suddenly had a thought. As they're called beets, spelt Beets, perhaps they're all farmers having a bit of fun on a day off.
Absolutely.
Beet farmers, because B-E-A-T they haven't got.
Exactly.
Throwing beetroot at each other.
Well, and I suppose that the missing thing would be there that the roots are not reaching our hearts or our souls. Something anyway like that. So the flying beats. I see through you, too. And that actually, there wasn't a two to the name of their track. But let's move on to the next artist. So basically, just put more, musical structure into it all. And I don't know, do something that will please the judges, perhaps. Let's move on to the next artist we have here. This is... okay, so I like this. Boy One is, well, I like the name of this. I don't know what it's like, but so a mid-love crisis. I like that title. So this is Boy One with Mid-Love Crisis.
Every time I try to kiss you, you pull away, you make excuses. Every time I try to hold you, your grip of me just seems to loosen. I don't know if it's me or you, but I still believe in us. I turn around, but you've left the room. Now something's come between us. We're going through a mid-love crisis, but you don't seem to realize it. You leave me halfway to paradise, and you disappear into the night. I'm all alone as the morning sun rises. There's tears in my eyes, it's a mid-love crisis. I was sure that we had it made. Nothing else in the world really mattered. I thought it was a fairy tale, and that there'd be a happy ever after. What happened to those carefree days when you didn't have second thoughts about me? Wish that they were here again.
Oh no. Well, that's really unfortunate, because that is really, this is so silly. When I go and look things up on a new system that I have, it just cuts out the tracks, and that is jolly, jolly unfair. So I am going to go back to that, even though it does sound very much like another song. Do bear with me just for a moment, please. Let's just see if I can move it along somehow and get it to play elsewhere.
I hold you between us. We're going through a mid-love crisis, but you don't seem to realize it. You leave me halfway to paradise, and you disappear into the night. I'm all alone as the morning sun rises. There's tears in my eyes, it's a mid-love crisis. I was sure that we had it made. Nothing else in the world really mattered. I thought it was a fairy tale, and that there'd be a happy ever after. What happened to those carefree days when you didn't have second thoughts about me? Wish that they were here again, when you swore that you loved me madly. We're going through a mid-love crisis, but you don't seem to realize it. You leave me halfway to paradise, and you disappear into the night. I'm all alone as the morning sun rises. There's tears in my eyes, it's a mid-love crisis. I guess most love affairs blow hot and cold. Let me take you up the stairs, and we'll put this little problem to bed once and for all. Come on, come on. We're going through a mid-life crisis, but you don't seem to realize it. You leave me halfway to paradise, then you disappear into the night. I'm all alone as the morning sun rises. There's tears in my eyes, it's a mid-love crisis. It's a mid-love crisis. It's a mid-love crisis.
Mid-love crisis, and that is Boy One. Now, Brian Foley is in fact Boy One, aka Boy One, and he's been an integral part of the Irish music scene for more years than he cares to remember, apparently. From the heady days of punk playing with the Vipers and supporting the Jam and the Trogs to doing support tours in Britain with the Boomtown Rats and Thin Lizzy. He then spent 5 years gigging and recording with one of the most critically acclaimed pop bands ever to have come out of Ireland, the Blades. Anyway, with the demise of the Blades in the late 80s, Brian took to a more mellow option and joined the jazzy pastoral sounding band, the Harvest Ministers. Now, today, April 2025, sees him put together this song, Mid-Love Crisis, co-written with Kevin Savigar, and who is an English songwriter and a long-time collaborator of Rod Stewart, in fact, who also worked with Bob Dylan, George Harrison and Willie Nelson. We know all that bit. Anyway, so what do you think? Chaps, let's ask Barry Upton first. Barry, what do you make of that track?
Okay, well, if he's gonna tell us how great he is and how experienced he is as a musician and all these great people that he's worked with, and then he should know that you don't rush the vocal. In other words, the vocal, and Steve's nodding. That's the first thing that really annoys me. And so many people come into the studio, and the job of us producers is to point that out. So the best way to point it out is actually when it's being recorded, and then you can pull them back so that they're not fighting the rhythm. This reminded me of an old Nick Lowe track called "Cruel to Be Kind." Dawn's nodding now. So, and that was a great song. It really was. It was a great radio record. So it had something. Had potential, but they didn't achieve it because one, it made the vocal made me feel uncomfortable. The vocal had no real personality, and the song itself was trying to be clever, but it didn't really achieve that either. So I'm very sorry, but that's a bit of a from me.
Okay, thank you very much, Barry Upton. Danny Gillespie.
Well, I sort of agree there, actually. I mean, the only thing I could think was quite pleasant was the little lick, which reminded me of, pop songs from the 60s, which I remember well. But everything else, the voice didn't make me go, yeah, he sounds great. And the lyrics were trite and embarrassing sometimes. There was one point about it's not working, so let's go up to bed. And another place, I couldn't understand the lyrics, and it sounded like he was singing, let's do some toe sucking. Now, I'm usually...
Ay, caramba!
Well, he should have actually. Perhaps
at last.
I just find it very bland and very ordinary, and he really should know better, frankly, because if one is honored enough and lucky enough to actually go into a studio and sing, you might as well sing about something nice and do it well. And I felt that was just blandness. So a big no for me as well.
And unless they've got really clean feet, leave the toe sucking out.
Well, I must have misheard, but that's because he wasn't singing clear. And the whole thing was kind of double track. It just sounded messy.
Okay, thank you very much, Danny Gillespie. Phil Brown.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the hook was quite good. I was a bit thrown by the fact that the voice was kind of double tracked, or there was something else with it. It had no character because of that. I think it would have been better to have had one great performance rather than kind of trying to go somewhere that didn't really work. So, I mean, fairly well put together, good little hook, but it needs a bit more thought and work on, especially with the vocal and the lyrics.
Didn't lift your shirt tails then, Phil?
It did not, no. Okay. Although I must admit, it takes a lot sometimes.
There's always Viagra these days, or whatever people take. Thank you, Phil Brown. And Steve Lillywhite.
Well, yeah, this song at least had a riff. What I was saying about the first song that didn't have anything, this has that little thing that reminded me of the theme tune from Friends. And sometimes you can have a riff that is, it can sound a bit like something else, and that's not a bad thing. But the other good thing about it, I thought, was that the title. I thought, yeah, this could be something good. Unfortunately, it was a little bit written by numbers. When the bridge came in, it went to a chord that was just so like, I've worked with records where, that something like that would be a placeholder and you would fix it later when so yes, it was good, but as Barry said, if you name all those amazing people you've worked with and then you present this, there's something that doesn't quite gel, But as a song, I thought it was promising. The idea of the song was promising.
Thank you very much, Steve Lillywhite. I actually thought from the name of the title, I thought that was really clever. I loved the midlove crisis. And so I expected a great deal more as well, I must be honest. It was extraordinarily predictable. And I think that was a little bit painful about it. Before we even move on to the vocal and the lyrics and things like that, Barry, Dana, I mean, it didn't make any of us feel as though we were excited by it or wanted to hear it again. So, boy one, really sorry about that. But go back, try all over again, do something that surprises us. Let's move on to the next artist we have lined up here. Okay, so let's open this box up again and hope for the best. This is Georgina White, and the track is called Hallowed Be Thy Name, I think. Let's just check. Yes.
I'm waiting in my cold cell when the bell begins to chime, reflecting on my past life, and it doesn't have much time. They take me to the gallows road. The sands of time for me are running
Yeah, I've got to stop that because I've just realised that that is in fact a cover of the Iron Maiden song, which is "Hallowed Be Thy Name," and we do not have covers on this show. So, Georgina White and judges, I'm really sorry, but we have to completely exclude that, which is a little bit disappointing because actually, it was an interesting version. Don't you think, Steve?
I don't know the original, so I cannot possibly comment.
No, but I mean, even as it is in its own right, it did perk our ears up.
Had some energy, some energy for sure.
But unfortunately, we do have to exclude that because it is a cover. And artists, the only tracks that are allowed on this show are they must be originals. Nothing else. So let's go back to selecting the next artist, and this is Brian Bilston and the Catenary Wires. And it's the band name is so long that I cannot give you the title of the track yet because it doesn't come up in there. It starts with every. But so Brian Bilston and the Catenary Wires. Here we go.
Every song on the radio reminds me of you and the DJs. I know this much is true. I'm all shut up and I don't know what to do. Every song on the radio reminds me of you. Every song on the radio reminds me of you.
When a song comes on the radio, it's always about you. The evening you let the dogs out, that altercation you had with the sheriff when things really got out of hand. Those stupid bloody Tuesdays when you'd sit on a cornflake in your corporation t-shirts and wait for the van to come. Sometimes it feels like I'm listening to a copy of your strange and wide-ranging CV. Waitress in a cocktail bar, private dancer, lineman for the county, boxer. All those 9-to-5 jobs when each day you would take the morning train and then take another home again.
Every song on the radio reminds me of you and the DJs. I know this much is true. I'm all shut up and I don't know what to do. Every song on the radio reminds me of you. Every song on the radio reminds me of you.
And the memories, meeting at Waterloo Station, drinking sangria in the park, the party with the special atmosphere. That time you missed my birthday because you were sat in a tin can high above the world. Me, falling down at your door, having walked 1,000 miles. Is it any wonder I can't get you out of my head when every song on the radio reminds me of you? It's been 7 hours and 15 days since you left. You and your beautiful, big, bright, sexy, gypsy, cotton green, brown, ocean, baby blue, Betty Davis eyes.
Every song on the radio reminds me of you and the DJs. I know this much is true. I'm all shut up and I don't know what to do. Every song on the radio reminds me of you. Every song on the radio reminds me of you. I'm all shut up and I don't know what to do.
Every song on the radio reminds me of you. Hang the DJs, I know this much is true. I'm all shook up and I don't know what to do. Since you've been gone, I've been tangled up in blue.
Every song on the radio reminds me of you.
Every song on the radio reminds me of you is the name of that track, and the artist is Brian Bilston and the Catenary Wires. Now, I've just been trying to find the details on that, and the software appears to have decided that it's not going to chase up everything that I received. To have a look, so please give me a little more time to find this. Meanwhile, though, Barry Upton, would you like to go first, please? That little musical ditty.
Well, it's a bit difficult, really, because I mean, it reminds me of a Bonzo Dog Doodah band's style of song, which I loved the Bonzo Dogs, and they were very funny and surreal and entertaining. But this didn't have any of that. It wasn't surreal enough, and I didn't find it entertaining enough. And it after a while, especially when they're singing the chorus, every song on the radio reminds me of you. Every song. Are they really true? How about Ying Tong Tiddle Lai Po?
Yeah, well, was that true? Ying Tong Yiddle I Po? No.
That's not going to remind me of you, is it? It's going to remind me of the Chinese girl or Chinese takeaway. So you know, it actually falls down right from the very beginning as soon as they bring in the title. But the meandering vocal, I just don't think it worked. It wasn't funny enough. Sorry.
Okay, the Catenary Wires are a group comprising of Amelia Fletcher, Rob Percy, and Ian Button. Their critically acclaimed third album, Burling Gap, which came out a short while ago. Since then, they've been focusing on their other bands, playing around the world with Heavenly and Swansea Sound. Heavenly were a 90s indie pop scene band. Anyway, so they are you from Wales? Is that where you're from? Let us know, because it doesn't actually say other than Swansea Sound. Where are you from? So that's Brian Bilston and the Catenary Wires. Okay. So Phil Brown, would you like to go next, please?
Yeah, not really for me. I found his talking section quite annoying. It was nice to hear a band kind of performing live, but that was probably the best bit for me. The chorus became a bit tedious, but it was the verses and the lyrics that, a bit pretentious.
Okay, thank you very much, Phil Brown. Danny Gillespie. Oh, sorry, no, Steve. Sorry, I need to swap this around. Steve Lillywhite.
Okay, well, I have to say that we come from this wonderful culture in England where, and it probably doesn't happen anymore because the charts don't mean anything. But
mine does on a Friday afternoon at 5 p.m.
I apologize, Dawn. I apologize. We all live in little worlds of our own now, but there used to be a much bigger world we lived in, which was the whole of Britain. And someone perhaps at the BBC would decide that a song like this was great, and they would put it on, and it would suddenly go to number one, because it was a novelty song, and everyone from Benny Hill to as you say and it was great. This wasn't too bad for me. I thought when his talking came in, at least I was interested to what was being said, and it was sort of naming songs, but then and then all those different descriptions of her eyes. I didn't think it was bad. I won't I won't slag it like everyone else does, but yeah, it was charming, and at least they tried to do something different.
Thank you very much, Steve Lillywhite. Can I just say, although you're talking about Britain, right now, I'm just looking at my interactive map. Right now, we have listeners listening in and artists from around the world as well, but who've submitted their tracks. But we have listeners coming in at this very moment from Canada, from the USA, from the UK, from, where's that? Austria, from Germany, from Thailand, Cambodia and Australia. So the world, you're right, Steve. We are in our own bubbles, but and the world does kind of feel smaller as opposed to one great big thing as one particular chart. Having said all of that, the world is, yes, it's hugely smaller. It's a strange contradiction of terms there, but it is a great deal smaller because we can all listen to something in real time at the same time. And I have to say, that's one of the things that I really love about technology right now. And the fact that, whatever we do, whether a chart or whatever, we'll have a much further reach in a different way.
I'm not saying it's worse or better.
No, I know.
Or it's just a different world. I mean, you can be number one on any chart in the world and you are not a song that's being talked about at the water cooler.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not. No one, not even Coldplay. No one talks about no one's waiting for anything anymore. So, so that's always been my thing with this show, is that sometimes people send in songs when they're not quite cooked enough.
Okay, but your view of that song was different.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too bad. I thought they were brave in their lyrical thing.
Yeah,
it's okay. I feel quite happy today. Maybe that's why I'm trying to find some nice things to say about the song, because nothing really so far today has knocked any of our socks off. So I'm just trying to find something about them.
Of course, yes. Thank you very much, Steve Lillywhite. And Dana Gillespie.
Oh, finally, right. Well, I found it dirgy from the off, actually, the singing bit. And then when he started to speak, I thought, oh, it could get interesting now, but it didn't. I mean, I like my brain to be tickled, and I like really interesting lyrics, something that makes me go, wow, this guy's got some cells in there, little grey cells, and he just didn't move me. So, but it's funny, Steve, that you should mention Benny Hill, because I started to think about, any of the old school would have made funnier lyrics. And I just thought, oh, they need to take some funny pills if they're going to go for that kind of song. So it missed it for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Dana Gillespie. I found it quite entertaining, and I think it's because it was different, and I think also because he made me have to listen because I didn't want to miss the lyrics because he was speaking them. So he did manage to achieve that, and very often after the first couple of bars, we switch off mentally without even realising it. It's a track that I would like to listen to again, and the second listen may well be on the show on Monday morning. I don't know yet, but I don't feel it's as I don't think it's bad at all, actually. But it requires another listen from me. It's just something different, and I think we're always looking for something a little bit different. Steve's nodding there. Okay, and Barry's snickering. And so is Phil.
I do that a lot, snicker.
I know. Oh, here we go. He's going to be after the Snickers bar now for the next song. Okay, let's move on to the next artist we've got here. This is Eddie Mooney and the Grave, and the track is called How Does It Feel to Be? I can't see the last bit of it. How does it feel to be? Maybe it's How Does It Feel to Be?
Oh, that's beautiful. How does it feel to be great?
Be great, a social media mate. How did it feel to be great? How did it feel to be right? Believing conspiracy shite. How did it feel to be advantages of getting through. We know what you're trying to do. How does it feel to be best? Better than all of the rest. How does it feel? How does it feel to be best? How does it feel to be great? Knowing it all is your fate. How does it feel? How does it feel to be great? How does it feel? How does it feel to be great? How does it feel? How does it feel to be great? How does it feel? How does it feel to be great? How does it feel? How does it feel to be great? How does it feel? How does it feel to be great?
Oh, that's beautiful. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
That was obviously a track. How does it feel to be great? Obviously a song about referring to Donald Trump. Phil Brown, would you like to go first, please?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was fun, had good energy. Unfortunately, I'm back to my usual thing about the mix and the vocal. The vocal should have been clearer, louder, whatever. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed it just from the fun element and the energy. But I think it could be improved just with a more focused mix, and especially the vocal.
Thank you very much, Phil Brown. Danny Gillespie.
I enjoyed it too. I mean, I found my foot tapping, which is always a good sign, because at least there's a beat. So it was more beaty than the other songs that have been on the show so far. And actually, when the first sentence or the first few words, I kept thinking, is that surely not Donald Trump? And then it went into that. It takes some doing to be able to find the words conspiracy theory shite in the middle of a song. Well, I take my hat off for them for getting that across. I kind of didn't dislike it, actually. It's not the kind of music I listen to, but they obviously feel what they sang. So, you know, I didn't mind it. And it's the sort of thing that you could probably play at a live gig with a load of anti-Trump people, and they'd all be leaping up and down and going, yeah, rock on. So it's good in that sense.
That'd be a huge audience then. Thank you.
Go on, don't get political.
Oh, I love politics. You should know.
No, this is a music show.
I know, but I'm still a political anorak, and loads of musicians are also tickled by politics too. Okay, Steve Lillywhite next then, just because you.
It had a good hook. I can still remember the hook of the song, and he was in a band called the Fortunes. Because I thought I'd recognized his name, so I did a bit of googling, and yeah, it's good.
In the Fortunes as well.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that probably probably half of Trump's people will like that as well, because they won't get the joke. They'll think it's they'll think it's a pro-Trump song. I don't know. Anyway, as Barry said, probably too many politics. But yeah, it was okay. You know, it's maybe the show's warming up a little bit and we're getting a couple of better songs. Let's see.
Well, that could be that. Sorry, listeners, that was not me farting. That was me just taking a piece of this kitchen roll because I threw water.
Oh, it was me farting. Sorry.
Of course it was you, darling. Of course it was.
They're unique.
Sorry, Barry.
Your farts are unique.
Obviously.
Tell them from here.
Anyway, so Barry Upton, what did you make of that track?
Okay, well, the fact that it's about politics obviously gets a few marks off. Eddie Moon is a great guy. We chat sometimes on social media, and what he does with the Fortunes, he's been doing with 60s bands for a long time. But the problem is he's on those Fortunes solid 60s shows, and the Tremolos are also on that show. And what he's done, he's copied "Even the Bad Times Are Good," which is a Tremolo song, and it's exactly the same. How does it feel to be great? It's exactly the same. So, Eddie, come on, be a little bit more original. And I know this is something he does for fun, just to sort of like counteract the Fortunes kind of thing. But he brought out a new Fortunes song. It was very soulful a couple of years ago. I thought that was really, really good. And I think personally he should concentrate on more of that kind of thing than trying to. Hang on, can I finish?
Yeah.
Than trying to be a punk song.
I was going to say, Barry, I loved that song. I know the song you're talking about. I
Yeah.
loved it as well. It was him doing a real vocal.
Yes.
Beautiful song. His vocals. He's got pipes that really can.
I know he's a good musician, and I just wish he would concentrate on doing something like that than trying to be clever and with politics. And not everybody is a Trump hater.
Yeah. Well, moving on.
So it's a dodgy subject.
Okay. You've read that book, haven't you? How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I wrote it.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Barry Upton. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying, because Eddie Mooney does, in fact, have the most stunningly beautiful crooning voice when he sings songs that are, very melodic types of songs that are less rocky. And do you know what? I think, Eddie, send us one of those. Write a new one of those and send us one of those, because we love your voice so much. So that was Eddie Mooney and The Grave. How does it feel to be great? And that actually does qualify to go into the Revival Chart voting pool if listeners would like it to go there. Okay, so let's move on to the next artist. This is Erin LeCount, as in ERIN, new word LECOUNT. And the track is called I Am Digital, I Am Divine.
There's no use crying over spilled milk. He doesn't understand why it's such a big deal to me, and he never will again. There's no use crying over spilled milk, but I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. I fear I never will. Floor tiles, milk teeth, I bite down, I wait for it. I'm a good girl with strong bones and milk teeth I've outgrown. I wait for it. We stand there in the kitchen, we both know that this is it, yeah. The milk pours down the sink and I'm having big feelings. I love a milk expired and I'm too tired to fight it. To ache is to be alive. 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 I'm digital, I'm divine. To ache is to be alive. I wait for it. I wait for it. And for the first time in my life, to ache is to be alive.
Wow. There we go. That is
How long is that?
Erin LeCount. Let me just see if I can. So it's 1 minute 59. And that is Erin LeCount. And she is 22 years old, self-taught musician and producer from Essex, England. I love the way they have to add England, but it's a big international world out there. And the alternative indie pop artist. She's been making waves with her breakout Silver Spoon. and this is her new track. It's called "I Am Digital, I Am Divine." And Dana Gillespie, would you like to go first, please?
Well, I mean, she's trying to be clever. She's trying to be different. I would say a hint of pretentiousness as far as I'm concerned. But the first thing that immediately bugged me was the lyrics and the vocal production. How can you sing "There's no point in crying over spilt milk"? Where's the K? Milk. Just tweak up the words so that people can understand. I was already annoyed because I couldn't understand a whole lot of what she's singing. And I'm sure she might have felt she was being interesting, but if I can't understand it, I can't interact with the song. So mill instead of milk pissed me off from the off, and she kept repeating it. So clarity, please get some clarity. And it's not a crime to just tweak up the end of a word. You know, if I can't bear it, let's say the word tight is sung in and it comes out as tie. Just tweak up the last word so you know what somebody's singing about. That's my main complaint. I'm sure others will find something, but that pissed me off. So I'm sitting back now. I've said enough.
Okay, thank you very much, Dana Gillespie. Phil Brown?
Yeah, I mean, it's not my usual kind of thing, but I wish it was longer, to be honest. I was kind of getting into it. It reminded me a bit of Laura Anderson. I really liked her vocal. It was annoying that you couldn't hear a lot of the words, but I think she's got a good voice, and it was an interesting track, but it just stopped way too soon for me.
Thank you very much, Phil Brown. Steve Lillywhite.
Well, you know, it's funny. I think it's much better for it to finish like that because it then makes you want to play it again. Rather than have it, 99% of songs are too long. And I did like her voice. There was a touch of Sinead O'Connor there, and no, it was nice, and yeah, I wanted it to go on a little bit longer, which would mean in the sort of normal world, I'd play it again. So well done to her. Well done.
Thank you very much. And Parry Upton.
Well, that's the first song that's been on the show that's been interesting and a little bit different. And she's showing promise there. And I think that, she could, if she brings out, say, 4 or 5 more, she's going to get better and better, I think, because exactly what Dana was saying about the end of words, I was banging on about that last week, exactly that. If you want to convey a message, or you want people to understand what you're singing about, the lyrics have to be clear. And if you listen to all of the best artists in the world, they always sing clear, and you can always tell what they're singing. So I think she'll learn from that, and it's a good start. I was agreed with Phil. I actually wanted to hear it a little bit more. I think if it had gone on a little bit longer, that would have been quite nice. So interesting, very interesting.
Thank you very much, Parry Upton. I have to say, Erin LeCount, I would say, well done. I enjoyed that. I like the fact that it was a bit of drama. There was a little bit of a kind of a drama performance thing going on in there, which reminded me a little bit of Florence and the Machine. That sort of, when you don't quite know what to expect. And I enjoyed that. Yeah, and she's only 22. I think, yes, a young lady, Erin LeCount, I think you've got a good career ahead of yourself there. I am digital, I am divine. I also like the play on that because, of course, everybody's looking up to AI in such a way that it is, something better than possibly we could achieve as mere humans. But, of course, without the humans, it wouldn't be there in the first place. Okay, let's move on to the next artist. We have The Alleged. And the track is called Hard and Slow. And we are told, make of it what you will. Okay.
I never knew your name. I never saw you before. Walk up the same, you left me crying for more. I always knew we would work out.
So that band is The Alleged, and The Alleged so they submitted the song for some critique, and submitted by Ewan Cameron, drummer of The Alleged. The Alleged is a Glasgow-based punk rock band active since 1978 as recording artists and performers. The group consists of 5 members, all hailing from Glasgow, with Ewan Wilkinson as the lead vocalist. So lots of Ewans, well, two Ewans in there. Ewan Cameron, the drummer who put this forward, and Ewan Wilkinson, who is the lead vocalist. That's The Alleged. And Phil Brown, would you like to go first, please?
Yeah, I can imagine seeing them live being great fun. But the vocal, again, I had problems hearing some of the lyrics. It just needed to be louder, I guess. So it was kind of fun, heard it all before. But I say live, I would imagine it'd be quite fun, especially with a pint of Glaswegian beer in your hand.
Yes. Thank you for that, Phil Brown. Steve Lillywhite.
Yeah, they were not inventing the wheel, and it's been done before, and they're you can imagine people pogoing along to that, and and it was a real band playing live. I'd like to say that perhaps a little bit more music in there, as well as instead of just the chords, but it's a genre, and it'll always have its glass ceiling, and good luck to them.
Thank you very much for that, Steve Lillywhite. And Barry Upton.
I think the best thing about it is the name. I like the name, The Alleged. Has there ever been a band called The Accused? 'Cause I think that'd be a good name as well.
I can find out for you very easily.
I like it. I like the name, and kind of their music goes with that name, and it just feels like something from the 70s, one of those bands. Eddie and the Hot Rods. It reminded me a little bit of Eddie and the Hot Rods. So yes, it's fine. It's okay. There's nothing special, and there's nothing new there, but it's okay. And I agree about the vocal. The vocal just was not clear enough, and whether he was not giving it enough diction, or whether it's just not loud enough in the mix. Both of those things contribute to us being able to hear.
Thank you very much, Barry Upton. And just very quickly going back on what you said, is there a band called The Accused? Yes, there is. And they have many, many tracks out. One of them called Judgment Day.
Well, hey.
Hey. Anna Gillespie.
Yeah, well, I could say if I was mixing it, I'd have brought the guitar down in order to hear the lyrics, but then you take away some of the energy. I'm always whinging on, I want to hear what all the words are. Yeah, it had a good energy. You say they're from the 70s punk. Well, do you realize that's 50 years ago? They're aging punkers now. I mean, I didn't know that punk was still around.
Oh, yes. A resurgence of it.
Is it right? Well, yeah, it had an energy, but up the vocals, otherwise people lose concentration if they have to strain to listen.
Very true. Okay, thank you very much.
Lillywhite just yawned.
I'm used to this being at 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm not used to being on the show at 7:00 in the morning.
Yes, you're on our hours.
I'm thoroughly enjoying it as well. I have to say, it's been a beautiful weather since I've been here.
Yeah, you lucky thing. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, very true. It's been fantastic, hasn't it? Really lovely. Hottest day on record yesterday. I don't know if we are up for the same today, or possibly even hotter. Barry?
I think your temperature was 29, and everybody was saying how hot it is. Here, 45.
Yes, I know, but it's not humid either here. And it's very, to be fair, 29 is very pleasant.
45 is bloody hot.
I know. Stay indoors.
I am. I'm taking lots of dips in the pool.
Okay, lovely. Yeah. Steve's at it again, yawning away there. Come on, Stevie Weeby.
Oh God.
Coffee. Oh, now he's basking in the sunshine through the window.
Have another coffee.
Yes. Okay. Now let's move on to the next artist we have here. So this is Frank from Blue Velvet. And the track is called Running Man. So it's the band are called Frank from Blue Velvet, and the track is Running Man. Well, that was unusual. Who would like to go first on that? Okay, Phil puts his hand up first.
Well, when it started off, I mean, I love the actual backing track, the kind of space and ambience, atmosphere of it all. They might have missed a trick by having the vocal also in a lot of kind of reverb, but it started off and I thought it was really interesting. And then probably about halfway through, I kind of drifted, I must admit, and I didn't really like all the distortion vocal at the end. I didn't really see the point of that. It's also very tricky when you're doing those kind of tracks because the cymbals were so loud against this other kind of dreamy element. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of different, and I was intrigued for the first minute and a half.
Okay, yes, I've got to admit, I fully agree with you. Exciting sort of sounding music, but there were other bits that let it down. Danny Gillespie.
Well, I agree with everything that Phil just said. And I find the distorted voice slightly annoying because I wanted to know what he was saying, and it just sounding like a fuzzbox sound. So he might have been saying something nice, but I haven't a clue. It was kind of interesting, and then you drifted. Running Man, it sounded like he'd had a load of barbiturates before, or some mandrax before he'd even started. You know, it was very slow, and it's the sort of thing that maybe in the 70s one might have listened to very 4 a.m. when you can't sleep. But it had promise, and then it lost it for me halfway through, sadly.
Okay, thank you very much, Dana Gillespie. And Steve Lillywhite.
Yeah, there was some promise there. He had a nice voice when he was singing, and probably didn't need to distort his voice when he was doing the other vocal, the second half, the higher up vocal. They could have sounded nice with a normal voice, you know, and you would have heard what he said, because, you know, with records like this, it's almost like the Beauty and the Beast. This had the beast. It needed a little bit more of the beauty.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Steve Lillywhite. And Barry Upton.
I think the idea of the song and the style is quite good. I think at the very beginning, the fade in is no good for radio. So you need to come in straight, you know, really on that first guitar chord. So it needs to have an edit there. But I agree with everybody else about the fact that first minute you're thinking, yeah, this is interesting. Even though he's, you know, he says he's a running man, but what's he running from? What's he running to? What distance is he covering? Is it a marathon? Is it 10K? Is it, you know, it doesn't give us enough information. And so you can't, so that's why really after about a minute, you just drift off, because he hasn't pulled you in and made you want to listen to what the story is about. So I had to keep reminding myself, hey, try and listen to the lyrics, try and figure out what it is, what's the message he's trying to give. And it wasn't there. So the first part of the song has to pull you in enough so that you listen to the rest of it.
Thank you very much for that, Barry Upton. Well, Barry, the thing is, though, that you're quite literal with your lyrics anyway, and I get that. It's your thing, and you are very good.
Here we go.
Well, no, it's just...
Come on.
Well, it's just that not everything, well, this is just my own personal opinion, but not everything has to necessarily mean something literally, because you can read in.
I'm just giving my opinion.
I know you are. I know that's why you're here, and that's what we love.
Thank you.
Okay, so now, well, it's true. That's what we love. But I'm going to give my opinion as well here, and from a commercial airplay perspective, and just from a commercial piece of music perspective. I loved the music when that started. I really enjoyed it because it sounded so different. It sounded really quite unique, and it was, you know, the mix felt great. It felt good, and then the vocal came in, and I'm really sorry, Frank from Blue Velvet, but I actually found that element a little bit disappointing. It didn't quite deliver on what I was hoping for. And then as it went on, it didn't kind of go anywhere. And I expected that with the quality of the recorded music to start with, that it would go somewhere else after a minute or so, but it didn't, and that was the element that was a bit disappointing, more than the vocal. But the richness of the vocal was okay, the depth, but it wasn't melodic or anything, and it could have been. So there we go. But it's something I will no doubt listen to again just to be sure. So let's move on to the next artist that we have here. Let's find them. So that was Frank from Blue Velvet with Running Man. Next artist we have is Little Men, and the track is called 5 Steps. Sorry, Little Men, one word, Little Men, and the track is called 5 Steps.
5 steps to danger.
My message is that we'll be watching you.
5 steps to danger.
5 steps to danger. The earth is shaking, floods and lightning striking. The world is broken. All of the trees
steps to danger. There's no food on the table, water contaminated, houses destroyed, black skies are hiding the beauty of the blue. No far affair on this unholy road.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. You have stolen my dreams, my childhood with your empty words. How dare you?
Step 1, war. 2, hunger. 3, pollution. 4, annihilation. 5, the end. You keep on kicking us around. Kicking us around. You keep on kicking us around. Kicking us around.
Oh, there we go. That was Little Men, and the track was called Five Steps. And there's a very interesting. It's rather long though, so I won't read through it. But it's Little Men and Who We Are. And there's a cute little drawing in the middle of it that makes it very difficult to read, unfortunately, as well. But there's a clever kind of scientific bit about music in there, and the original lineup of Little Men goes back some, I believe, but I haven't got the details on that either. But the new lineup is as follows: Nick Allen, longtime writer for the band and now lead singer, and Rob Bryan, the drummer. And who has, in fact, Steve, I wonder if you know him, because he's performed with Lorena Kennett, Laura Pausini, Susie Sue, from back in the day, Goldfrapp, Simple Minds, Peter Gabriel, and Michael Polnareff, and several others. There's Guy Townley, who's the lead guitarist. There's Mark Griffin, rhythm guitar. Tyler Spicer, bass guitar. What I'm actually looking for is, okay, so Little Men continue to develop, still crafted in Wiltshire, and striving to put that smile on your face or tear in your eye. And so Wiltshire band, and they have been around for some time. So, in fact, Steve Lillywhite, would you like to go first, please?
I will. It was a little confusing to me. I thought it was ambitious, and then you've got the girl doing the talking bit, which is always a nice thing in a song. I remember what was the Traffic song?
Hole in My Shoe.
Hole in My Shoe, that had the talking
Fabulous
in the middle. Brilliant, and it was good, and it had a lot of energy as well. Probably on the production side could have been a little clearer, a little bit more, but people, people don't have all the money in the world anymore. So you do what you do, and keep up with making art. You can see they're making art rather than commerce, and that's always a good thing.
Thank you very much, Steve Lillywhite. Barry Upton.
Yeah, I can see what Steve's saying there, and that is a good point, really. That sometimes people just do things to be a little bit different. And it's nice to hear things that are a bit different. And I found the girl quite enchanting. I have to say at the beginning, when it was called Five Steps, I thought, oh, the band that I put together called Steps had 5 in them. I thought it's not going to be a tribute song, is it? Which would have been quite unusual. But I didn't quite get the message. That's the thing. It's like Dana's always saying about you got to hear the lyrics. And I think in this, and you're talking, Dawn, about it don't have to be literal and stuff, but there has to be a story there and something which is going to grab me for me to want to listen to that song again and over and over again. So I think it missed the trick. It is a little bit of art. Okay, it's not commercial. We're not meant to judge it on that, but it's not something that I would be rushing to listen to again.
Okay, thank you very much, Barry Upton. Danny Gillespie.
Well, I actually really enjoyed the backing track. If you took away all the lyrics, I'd have been quite happy to bop along. I liked his drumming. I thought the drumming was really good. There were a lot of kind of trippy things going on. But then suddenly you come in, he does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 steps and there's bits in between each number. I had no idea what the lyrics were. I wanted to know what the 5 flipping steps were at that point. Obviously the verses, he's pissed off with the world or whatever, although not too wild about the vocal voice. It didn't thrill me. I'd have taken everything out and just grooved along to the backing track myself. So that kind of pleased me. And it's nice to do something that's not obviously heading for chart type. It's just they're obviously having a good time. That's how one lives down in Wiltshire, so I'm told.
Lots of pampas grasses in their front gardens there, Dana.
The other sort, probably.
Okay, thank you very much, Danny Gillespie. Phil Brown.
Yeah, I don't know what format people send things in, whether it's MP3s and WAVs, but everything sounded a bit far away, so I don't know quite why that was. But I also enjoyed the backing track. I think the message, Barry, is that the world is doomed. I think that's what I got from it. It's not that uplifting, but as a piece of art, kind of interesting. As a commercial record, not so sure, but I kind of enjoyed it.
Yes, I have to agree with you actually there, Phil. I enjoyed it, and it made me want to hear what it was all about even more, which in itself is, that's an achievement, because very often, the number of things that I get sent in that are not for Jukebox Judgement, but that are just for airplay, and you listen to the first couple of bars and you think, oh, no, just no. But that was an enjoyable track to me. I did enjoy the music. Dana, I agree that whether it had, for me, I also did enjoy the some of the vocal sounds in there, and I did like her voice coming in, which reminded me very much of a recent song from oh gosh, I can't even remember who, but a recent song that came in where there was an American lyric, a voice popping in, a female voice, just talking, which was really rather pleasant. But the music was great. I enjoyed that a lot. Okay, so that was Little Men and 5 Steps. Let's move on to the next artist we have here. This is Tian, I'm going to say Qiyi or Qiyi. It's Qiyi. Tian Qiyi, and the track is called Watch the Sunrise.
Leave yourself behind. Wave your ego on your crown. I can feel it in your heart. There's a hole at the cry. Is there any meaning that death is not strong? Watch the sunrise from the dark sky. Right to bite for the dawn.
Watch the Sunrise, and that is Tian Kui. And just looking for details here. So this is a track by Tian Kui featuring Jar Wobble, and it brings together both brothers as well. John Tian Kui and Tian Kui. Sorry, Tian Kui appears to be the band name. John is in it and Charlie is in it. They're both Tian Kui, and features Jar Wobble. And I'm just trying to find out where they're from. I don't seem to be able to see that information there. Oh, hang on. They've carved out a unique sonic territory that seamlessly blends dub rhythms with Mongolian and Xinjiang traditional Chinese and Irish musical traditions. So they've linked them all together. But I'm not sure. It's not actually telling me on here very quickly going through it where they're actually from. But anyway, let's move on and let's see what we think of that. Barry Upton, would you like to go first? Actually, no, Dana hasn't gone first yet, I don't think.
Correct.
Dana,
I was going to suggest
would you please like to go first?
This kind of intrigued me because, you know, I've made albums that are Arabic and Indian, and I love all the Oriental sound, and has been much part of my life. But I kept trying to think, you know, I work a lot with and have worked a lot with percussionists and tabla players and you know, people that make the rhythm with their hands, you know, like patting them. I'm showing, you can't see me, of course, listeners, but as opposed to drumsticks.
They will later.
Yeah, and I actually felt that, in fact, these guys didn't have a very good percussionist. He was all over the shop. It wasn't constant, which saddened me, because I like foreign-y sound. Well, it's foreign to most Western ears sounding music, but I couldn't understand the lyrics. Every time he came in with "Watch the Sunrise," yes, this is not what I'd call hit music. But I usually put on this kind of stuff when I'm at home. But I wouldn't put this on because it's not quite good enough. I think they need to go back to the drawing board and work with, I don't know, just put a few more things to it to make it better. It just was lacking some balls somewhere. It just was very middle-ish, and I wanted more depth and more interest in it, which is a shame because I really wanted to really like this.
Thank you very much, Dana Gillespie. Yes, we like a track with balls. Steve Lillywhite, would you like to go next, please?
What are you showing us?
Well, he's made it to the BBC News. That's why with his
page. I've just made it to the front page
of BBC News.
Oh, I'm going to switch it on while you're talking. Bastard.
What time does surgery open?
Oh dear, it's that song. I wanted to love it, you know. You know, Jar Wobble is a legend in the music business, and without him, we would not have had some of the greatest records ever made in the UK. And I know he loves this sort of music. It didn't, you know, Watch the Sunrise. Yeah, I got that bit, and that bit is still in my head, and I think that's good. But I feel if you want to marry the East and the West, you can do it a little bit better. Yeah, that's my thought anyway. But thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your service, Jar Wobble.
Thank you very much, Steve Lillywhite. Listeners, what Steve is talking about is that he received an honorary doctorate yesterday from Surrey University. I was there. It was a wonderful day, Steve, and your speech was lovely, and everybody loved Steve getting his doctorate. But he did look like something out of Hogwarts, I have to say, with the outfit and the wonderful hat, the gown, the hat, all of that. Did you know, by the way, Steve, that people no longer throw the or most of the universities have stopped it anyway. You know, the hat that you wear, whether it's the hardened hat or the soft ones, they would always throw them up in the air when you got your degrees at the end of the ceremony. They don't do that anymore because of health and safety, don't you know?
Yeah, you see, I don't even know that they did that. because I have no idea what a university actually does, having left school far too soon.
No, but I mean, historically, that is what.
Is that a tradition?
Yes,
it is. It was lots of lovely tradition there yesterday, which I have no problem with. I'm a big fan of tradition.
I found it.
You found me.
There you are, Steve, looking a bit pillocky with a hat on, but well done, sir.
Well, that's the tradition. That's the tradition.
I shall share a very funny picture, shall I, Steve? On
the group.
On the group. It's a picture I took yesterday, and Steve zoomed in on it. It was very funny. I'll pop that across, and I'll send that to you as well, Dana. It's very funny. Anyway, let's move along to with regard to Tian Kui that we just listened to there. Phil Brown.
Yeah, no, I found it intriguing. I wanted to like it more than I ended up liking it. I agree with Dana. I think it was a little ragged percussion-wise. And the vocal really was more just another kind of instrument, really, because I didn't really hear anything of what he was singing about. But I didn't think it was necessarily that important. So intriguing, but yeah, I mean, not commercial. It is something I would put on late at night and just kind of vibe to. But yeah, it's lacking various elements to make it a commercial viability.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. Phil Brown. Barry Upton.
Well, Dana is the one who's the expert on this, because I've heard some of her material, Eastern material, and it's fabulous. And we've spoken about it before. I've actually chatted with her about it, and it is incredibly East meets West, but more East, and it works really well, and it's so melodic, and she's right about the percussion. I was thinking all the way through that this percussion is all wrong. This is almost like they're trying to be real drums, and where's the tablas? I've been to some sitar concerts where it's been just sitar and tabla, and they've been mesmerizing, and the tabla player is a massive part of that, and great tabla playing is incredible. It really gets hold of you. So this song has potential. At the beginning, I'm the same as everybody else. So I really thought, this is going to be great. This is going to be my favorite song of the day. And then it didn't really go anywhere, and it didn't quite get it right. The East meets West thing didn't come off. So unfortunately, it's work in progress on this.
Thank you very much, Barry Upton. Steve Lillywhite.
I think I've already spoken.
No, you talked about you getting your.
Oh, yeah, no, but I also said that it was, and I said Jar Wobble gets.
Yeah, you went off at a tangent.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
By the way, Jar Wobble, was he responsible for the wobble board?
No, he was a bass player in Public Image. He was fantastic.
Okay, let's move on then to the next track. That was Tian Kui and Watch the Sunrise. My own personal perspective, absolutely. It was a little bit messy, but hey ho, back to the drawing board. Okay, let's go to Wasted Youth is the next band, and the track, well, it says TIYD, so it's obviously a shortened version of it. I think it is This Is Your Day. Let's have a listen to this. Wasted Youth.
By the sheets, it's another day. I can't hide. There's got to be a better way. Feel the pain inside. I'm just gonna watch it slip away. This is your day. This is your life. This is your day. This is your life. smiles all the time, just the way that you used to. Just the way that you used to. This is your day, this is your life. 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 Sleeping cars, laundrettes, new tattoos, foreign cigarettes, lipstick traces, shopping malls, waiting for sale, and alcohol. Crazy dreams unfold. This is the nature of waiting. Stupid dreams retold. This is the danger of hesitating. There may be no tomorrow. There may be no tomorrow. This is your day, this is your life. 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 Sleeping cars, lingerie, new tattoos, foreign cigarettes, lipstick traces, shopping malls, wine for sale, and alcohol. Sleeping cars, lingerie, new white shoes, foreign cigarettes, crying babies, shopping malls, wine for sale, and alcohol.
Wasted Youth, and that is This Is Your Day. And Wasted Youth are an English post-punk band from London, initially active between 79 and 82, and the original lineup of the band was Ken Scott, Rocco Barker, and it's Rocco Barker who is still Wasted Youth and the frontman and the songwriter, in fact. And Rocco Barker later went on to join Flesh for Lulu, and Andy Scott joined Cockney Rejects. Anyway, so that is that is Rocco Barker, who in fact sent that into us, and he is currently touring as well. So that's Wasted Youth, and This Is Your Day. Phil Brown, would you like to go first, please?
Well, I enjoyed the guitar. I thought that was really nice, although it felt as if he was in a different band to everyone else. The vocal, yeah, again, it just seemed unemotional. It was so down. for me. A very depressing overall vibe I got from it. The vocals should obviously be louder, but then I'm going to say that on 90% of the records we hear. Yeah, I'm a bit confused. I think it needs work to make it into something that's enjoyable. It was pretty depressing.
Okay. I'm going to make an admission. That was my favourite of the day. Loved it. Go on, Steve Lillywhite. Sorry.
No, I agree. I thought it was great. I mean, yes, there were things like the bass drum was the loudest thing and the voice should have been louder, but I heard what he was singing in the chorus. I mean,
yeah,
he put an octave higher in with that low voice. It's a hook. It's a great chorus.
Yeah, good chorus. Yeah.
You've got the guitar that goes in the back. Great guitar line in that chorus. I mean, it's that they're probably too cool for their own good, and they don't sort of get the. You see, when you really have big hit records, you need to get your hooks and really nail them and make those hooks the best they can possibly be. And there was loads of things about that were not right, but it was okay. I mean, I had that nice sort of Lou Reedy heroin feeling about it. I mean, I've never taken heroin, but I think that's what it would be like. It was great. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not brilliant, but you had a great guitar riff and you had a great hook in the chorus, with very simple chords, which,
very good hook and nice lyrics. This is your life. This is your day. This is your life. That's quite positive. I mean, I get what you're saying, Phil, about it not being.
I would.
It was cool. I liked it. I mean, you think of Jarvis Cocker. He eventually does put emotion into his stuff, because he kind of loses it, doesn't he? Like halfway through, and it gets all very emotional. Or I'm trying to think of other pitchy sounding artists. But maybe that's what Rocco Barker needs to do on his vocal a little bit further along in it. I don't know, but yeah. Well, I'm glad somebody liked it. I loved it, I have to say. So moving on to Barry Upton.
I didn't like it at all. I found it dirgy. I think if you're singing "This is your day, this is your life," where's the motivation in the voice? It's not there. It just sounded like
you got to meet
dismal.
Rocco.
Well, I'm just listening to the song. I'm just reacting to the music that you played me, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to know any of the background. I'm just listening to the song. And it didn't grab me one little bit. There was the chorus just went, "This is your day, this is your life," and then repeated. That's lazy songwriting. There's so much more you could do with that. And also the lyrics on the verses. The only word that I heard clearly was shopping mall. So if anybody can tell me what the point of the song is, or is it about shopping? Go shopping, but the music didn't suit that, and it was just dirgy for me. Sorry.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Barry Upton. Danny Gillespie.
Well, I agree with little bits of everyone. That it is dirgy because that's how he sings, and it's sort of dark, and one could say dirgy and a bit boring. Shopping mall. Well, I kept thinking, are they American then? Because we Brits don't usually use the word mall, and I mean, heaven forfend that we should land up like America, covered with shopping malls. So maybe that's a sort of a down thing. I kept thinking when you get to the chorus, okay, just add some singers, some harmonies, stick some birds in there to sing some nice harmonies and lift it. Just take it somewhere else. Otherwise, it's just on one level the whole way through, and it's time to sort of fall off your chair out of boredom at the end. I'd like some more inventiveness, and it has to lift up its chorus to take me to being a bit interested in it. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, Dawn.
I did. I really did. I suppose I rather liked the kind of laid backness of it, not trying hard at all, and the sound, the guitars did it for me.
You mean the heroin Lou Reed sound?
I don't really know what it is. Possibly that. I don't know, but I did enjoy it. I really did. Oh well, maybe, but maybe I just like that sort of hint of the Rolling Stones slightly underplayed. I don't know. There's something rather nice in that. Anyway, do we have time for one more? Yes, actually, I think we do. Very quickly, time for just one more. And let's hope it's not a long one. Okay, this is Milk Maiden is the name of the band. It's all one word. Milk Maiden and King for a Day.
If you're lost on your way to heaven, you can knock 3 times on 11. It's a hole in the ground you could smoke inside. It's a 50 cap human slip and slide. So celebrate your third divorce. Celebrate your friend's drug overdose. If you got a peg leg or a finger on each hand. If your daughter doesn't call 'cause you're less of a man, we can lift you up with a little moonshine and luck. We can lift you up with a persistent feminine touch. You can buy some time from the girls who have stood in line. You can take a ride from the girls who are satisfied that constant hunger that loosens your collar. Your deepest depression will peel off like snakeskin 'cause you're king for a day. Oh, 'cause you're king for a day. If you're ashamed of your English history, you could be colonized by India or Haiti. They'll strip the resources from the skin of your back, burn down your city in a pillaged attack, rip the jewels from your Taj Mahal, put them on your head so you can show them all that you're the king of nothing and just a very sad man. That you're f***ing black, that stole some land. You can buy some time from the girls who have stood in line. You can take a ride from the girls who are satisfied. You say women by nature have awful behavior. These girls will go nowhere. You don't belong here. I'll book us a hotel. Just let me help you. It'll be like Pretty Women. I'll be your godsend. You're running, you're spoiling with these bricks you've been toying. The stroke of my power, get paid by okay, whatever you say. Oh, 'cause you're king for a day. Call me, we'll kneel and pray 'cause you're king for a day.
Milk Maiden, and that is King for a Day. Now, we don't have a great deal of time, but very quickly, Milk Maiden is your new... Well, Dan has got her sunglasses on. She didn't like that one. No, definitely didn't like that one. Milk Maiden is your new favourite... This is a sales pitch, if ever I saw one. Is your new favourite low-budget gaffer tape pageant lesbian music star. And this is an anthem. There we go. So, Right, but I will come to Steve last on this one because then we'll go straight into the voting, please. Barry Upton, would you like to go first, please?
I think that was the first one that we've had today that I could hear you playing on and sounding good on the radio. Apart from the bit in the middle where it just went so confusing and it was just a complete mess. Why put that in? The song was quite good. It started off with the riff from Rat Trap, and then which is okay, and it went into a nice girly band type sound, but I didn't like that bit in the middle. I think they should just rethink that and maybe even edit it out. But
Okay.
otherwise, it's okay.
Thank you very much, Barry Upton. Danny Gillespie.
Very okay is not enough as far as I'm concerned. It just was like a mess, and I was happy to find my dark glasses, put them on. Didn't like it at all. Just I didn't know what they were singing about. I'm sure maybe it's like the Bangles. No, I can't. No, I won't say any more. Dark glasses did it all for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Danny Gillespie. And Phil Brown.
Yeah, good energy, good riff. Didn't really like the vocal too much, but yeah, it was okay, as Barry said. Nothing special.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And Steve Lillywhite.
Well, I absolutely loved the riff. The intro riff was great. There was, I know what you're saying about Rat Trap, but there's the other guitar that took it away from Rat Trap that was sort of sexy. And I thought, oh, this could be, maybe we've got something coming along the outside to win the race at the very last hurdle.
Yes.
But in fact, it didn't, because it suffered from it was messy, and it didn't work for me.
Yes.
And there you go. Anyway, for timing, I will I wasn't that, I don't know today. I mean, I really liked Wasted Youth. I mean, sort of liked it. Little Men was not bad. Erin LeCount. I mean, maybe I'll go with Erin just because it did finish so quickly that I would like to hear it again to get an idea.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Steve Lillywhite. Danny Gillespie.
Well, I went also with Erin, only diction, and she has potential if she, gets better with each record, and she's so young. Way too short, obviously. And I kind of like Little Men, except again, couldn't understand. So I go between those two. I'm kind of equal on both.
Okay, choose one.
Oh, God. Little Men, actually, just for the drumming.
Okay, right. And Phil Brown.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky day with a lot of them. But I think Erin definitely gets my vote. I just wish it was that bit longer, but I really enjoyed that, and shows great potential.
Okay, so 2 for Erin so far, Little Men 1. And Barry Upton.
My marking has been very low today. The quality hasn't come up to my expectations, really, except for I Am Digital, I Am Divine, which I found interesting. And I think that that should be a worthy winner.
Okay, that's Erin LeCount with I Am Digital, I Am Divine. Now, she has won because so far that's 3 votes for her, 1 vote for Little Men. And I have to say, my favourite of the day was actually This Is Your Day, Wasted Youth. But I do see, I know what you're on about, Steve, with Milkmaid, with that riff, because in my head I've still got down, down, da 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 down, down, and it was a sexy riff going on there, that second guitar. But the winner today is Erin LeCount, and so we are going to play out with that. And thank you all so much for joining me this morning. Here we go. Ciao, ciao.
My campers.
Indeed. And well, we'll see you all again, hopefully next Friday. This is Erin LeCount, and I Am Digital, I Am Divine. Well done. Congratulations to Erin.
There's no use crying over spilt milk. doesn't understand why it's such a big deal to me, and he never will again. There's no use crying over spilt milk, but I don't know how I'm supposed to feel